Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisol mu fine.
What?
Bisol mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisol mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
On Tuesday, the 14th of October 2025, you're watching Coffee Time with Peter Gomez, also listening to us on FM and online at www.wcr.gm. We're into the second hour of the program, and back with us is our friend, the Honorable Ebrima Sillah, Minister responsible for transport works and infrastructure. The infrastructure has now stuck, no more communications as before. Yes. Now, in the area of transport, it was reported in one of the newspapers that a new ferry is expected in the Gambia soon. I'm sure he'll be happy to talk about that. And we have many unanswered questions from the last program, which I'm sure he would also want to tackle. But where I want to start this morning is the current political situation in the Gambia. Honorable Minister, as both a cabinet minister and a key strategist for the NPP, how does he interpret the political situation in the Gambia, especially in light of recent shifts in public sentiment, opposition activity, and the government's reform agenda? Without much ado, let's cross over to Sillah, sitting quietly to my left, and beaming with a smile. What happened? Barrow called you this morning and said he was going to add another portfolio to your three-pronged ministry.
Oh, no. It's too much of a mouthful for me. But I'm smiling because I'm sitting on my big brother's seat. You know, the right Dr. Ebrima Sankare.
Oh, he's a doctor now?
Well, he's just about to finish his PhD, and congratulations in advance.
Very good, very good. Soon everybody in the Barrow cabinet is going to be a doctor.
Wow, yes.
Although, I say cabinet as if, Sank sits in cabinet. He doesn't yet. But in most jurisdictions, the government spokesman, sits in cabinet.
Exactly,
so,
yes. I mean,
what's the problem with that? Why are we, unique in some sense?
Well, I thought after the 2021 election, there was going to be some reform initiatives to have the government spokesperson sit actually in cabinet, as it happens in many other countries within the Commonwealth. However, probably this is work in progress, and hopefully, because there is also another issue that we have to grapple with, which is Sankare being a U.S. national as well.
So this dual nationality
issue, that's a bit problematic. Yeah, but hopefully, we'll get over all these things. Well, thank you so much.
And what's happening to your colleague? Somebody sent me a text this morning when they heard me announce that you're coming back to the program, asking whether Dr. Cisse has run away.
No, he's enjoying his annual leave. And strangely, when he left, I've not heard from him. But it shows he's really, really enjoying it.
Well, don't take that question lightly.
No. That will never happen. Doctor is a formidable member of our team and also our cabinet.
Very good.
Yes.
So, Sillah.
Yes.
How do you read the political situation, the political climate in the Gambia right now?
Well, with all what is happening, and also with the issue of youth agitation, and sometimes...
so when you say with all what is happening, all what is happening with who?
No, in terms of our democratic pluralism, the new political parties that we see springing up even now and then, and then also
some of them being splinters
yes,
of existing parties, including your own party.
Exactly, yeah, from our party, from the main opposition, United Democratic Party, but also some newcomers with some novelties and some new ideas, blended with some kind of agitation coming from the young people. I think it is all important that those of us that are at the helm of policy direction in this country look at all this within a context of what is happening, globally, but also in some parts of Africa, and then, re-strategize on some major reform processes, especially youth employment, food prices, and also energy prices. These are critical because these are daily, issues that people deal with. They also have to be blended with the fact that government has to be responsive, that we should be ready to listen, but also act, proactively, with some novelties in the way we do things. It cannot be transactional as usual. We have to be very innovative. We have to be very transformative in ensuring that, we continue to deliver. The good thing is that we are delivering. But we also have a whole array of critics out there who actually are very good on the social media where the young people are. So we have to up our games in that. We did a phenomenal job in 2021 in the run-up to the presidential election. But what we have seen is that it is not only good to wait until it is election time to start showing all those good things that we are doing. That is why very soon, under the able leadership of Honorable Dr. Sise, you will see us come out effectively and efficiently using the media and other forms of communication mechanisms to reach out to the Gambian people, to reach out to the people that actually matter.
Reach out to these people with what information?
Well, not only what government is doing, but also, the challenges that we face, because this has to be an honest conversation. I mean, we are...
You don't think until now the conversation has been honest, especially coming from your side? Government?
Well, I think we have been showing what we are doing. In some cases, we don't admit the challenges, or we kind of state the challenges that we have as a country. This is a highly resource-constrained country. We don't have natural resources like other countries. We highly depend on taxation and the goodwill of donors, and then also non-tax revenues, which are not enough to solve all our problems. So it is important that we build our communication strategies around these realities, come out, admit the issues, but where necessary also, forthrightly come out and then defend the things that we are doing as a country. That in itself will help a lot in terms of what we call persuasive conversation, in media communication.
Admittedly,
strategies.
we are a resource-constrained country, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But then again, when audit reports come out and show, so much wastefulness on the part of, the people governing the country, I would have thought, that is where to tackle first and foremost.
Yeah, that quite rightly so. As you know, the audit issue is a process. When the auditors issue their report, it goes through a process where the National Assembly will also discuss it, and where the doubts still remain, and where substantial doubts remain to the extent that some form of fraud might have happened, or mismanagement, or wasteful spending that could not be justified, then this could be escalated to the police, which that has the capacity to investigate. And once those investigations are done, and then they are proven right that certain things happened that should not have happened, or public money was spent, in a corrupt manner or in an accountable manner, then it is escalated to either prosecutional level at the police or the Attorney General's chambers that will advise at the next level. Now, when it goes to court, the government as an entity is not really responsible for what happens in the court, because there then witnesses have to come.
We are not responsible for the ultimate verdict.
That's what I'm saying. But efforts to ensure that the matters are prosecuted, and then, you know, those things, all those things are there, and then, you know,
that's what the Attorney General's chambers.
Yes,
well,
and that's what they have been doing.
That's what they're there for,
and that's what they have been doing. I mean, because in our judicial, you know, environment, and like in all other, you know, environment, you are innocent until proven guilty.
True. Mm-hmm.
This means that the burden of responsibility is on the accuser, which in this state, in this situation, is the state. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it takes time, and even when you are, I mean, found guilty at one level of the court, in a magistrate court, you can go to the High Court. From High Court, you can go to Court of Appeal. From Court of Appeal, you can go all the way to Supreme Court. So these processes, I think, will also need to be further explained to a lot of people that probably may not understand those issues.
Okay. Politics.
Yeah.
So many interesting things happening.
Yes.
There's an NDP.
Yes.
You know, which has a name similar to
our national development
your blueprint.
Plan. Yes, yes, and coming from our splinter from our party.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we are closely watching the political space, and I'm sure almost all the existing big political parties are doing so for...
Such as?
Well, UDP, I know, and NRP, of course, and the GDC of Mama Kande, and maybe...
NRP is as good as NPP.
Yes, yes, I know, but, you know, they are also a political party.
Yes, they are.
And also, I'm sure the PDOIs, I don't know what their stance are right now in terms of the next elections, whether either Khalifa or Sidia or any one of them will stand. But I'm sure we are all observing.
What's your wish?
Well, I mean, our wish is that we have created a pluralistic, democratic environment.
In terms of DOI?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Whether it's Khalifa or Sidia?
Yeah, I mean, these are highly respectable people within our
The question
political...
is, which one of them would you like to see?
No, I mean, that is not...
Peaceborough in 2026.
That is not a question for me, because I am a member of the the NPP. I'm not a member of PDOIS. So really, I mean, I don't want to comment on the leadership of other political parties.
In football, you would hear Liverpool say, well, I'd rather meet
any one of them is good
in the next round because they are easier to beat now.
No, any one of them is
Newcastle, for
any
instance.
one of them is okay for us. I mean, we are very sure that our candidate, you know, is in a very good position. He's poised, you know, to win, you know, in the 2026.
Still with 75% of the vote?
Well, no, I mean, that is not realistic. Okay. I mean, 75%.
Now it's not.
No, I mean, you see, when people talk on the platform, certain, you know, statements are just like metaphor. You know, you just say those ones to encourage, you know, the very, you know, foot soldiers and the grassroots supporters, so that, you know, everybody can be energized. But, you know, looking at our political dispensation and also the dynamics that are out there, as well as the figures that, you know, we are looking at, you know, there is no way that anyone can make it to 70%. I mean, unless maybe...
Not even the redoubtable Adama Barrow?
No. But, you know, I mean, you see, I deal with real data. And I deal with real issues.
And others are daydreamers.
No, not daydreamers. You know, they are political strategies as well. Because, you know, we look at the history of elections in this country from the First Republic coming to the former president's period, former President Jammeh, and then to now. And you look at the pattern. You look at the voter turnout. You look at, you know, the voting, you know, pattern in terms of regions. You look at the voting pattern in terms of the population dynamics. And you also look at the current population index in terms of regions, constituency, party distribution. And then you also look at the voters that have not identified themselves with any political party, but they will vote eventually. You know, when you do all that, if you look at the history of elections, with the exception of the early days of the PPP up to 1982 or so, you will see that in most cases, the incumbent president has a minimum of 37% secure, all right? And then the main opposition party, which is always next to the ruling party, is between 15 and 17% in terms of solid base, you know? Then,
so there's a minimum 20% gap.
Yes, almost,
Okay.
almost. And then you also have all other parties combined, which will say between 5 and 7%. Put this together, you are about 52. So in a singular block, the undecided are always the biggest. These are mainly probably the civil servants, the businessmen.
Civil servants, I thought they were supposed to be pro-government.
No, they may be
Pro-ruling party.
They may be pro-government, but they are undecided. All right? You know, it's different to say that you identify with a structure of a political party and the actual vote. That is completely different. And that is why, you know, when you are doing your calculation, even with the margin of error of 6 to 7%, you have to be very careful with the data. So myself and few people will always do this on a regular basis. And honestly, I mean, to assume that anyone will get 70% is not possible.
Where does the NPP's biggest challenge lie? Whether it's in terms of demographics, geography, whatever.
Well, geographically, I think we are good. But demographics, we have to improve a lot of outreach among the younger voters. We have seen that. I mean, and this is for all political parties, because when we are doing our data analysis, we don't only do it for the NPP. We do it for NPP against, say, UDP. Now, okay, assuming that NPP stands tall there, and then UDP versus all other parties, you know, the shifts, you know, and where is the middle ground? So we look at all that, and then, you know, we can see that on the social media, where sometimes you can do these variable tests, the opposition may have a stronger, you know, footing, because that's where they are most vocal. In most cases, newer parties or the main, you know, the ruling party, they pay less attention on critical voice in the social media. So we look at all that, but we also look at the silent majority, and then, you know, we go for the data analysis on that to look at, you know, the variables in terms of, with all things being equal, where will they vote? You know, so we also have that data. We also analyze that. And then, you know, we look at our solid base. Even within the solid base also, we look at the daily occurrence of, you know, people shifting allegiance and loyalty based on who they think will best serve their purpose, or who is related to them, or who is from the same ethno-linguistic, you know, language from them. So these are things that we also look at. And then we also look at, in terms of resource disadvantage, for example, if, for example, us as a government, we are doing a development activity in an area and the people feel that probably they are left out, and, you know, there is dissenting voices, and this could lead to some of our own supporters coming out to criticize us, and then that can also, you know, make others lose confidence, you know, in the process, to the point that it can shake some people's opinion about the party. So we look at all that as well. And then we look at, like, for example, when the president is on the Meet the People store, or when the president goes out, you know, the people that will voluntarily come out to say, okay, I mean, we have switched allegiance from party A to you because we have seen what you have done or what you are doing or the direction of the country. You know, but that is not a very strong indicator to determine your data. Yeah. You have to be very, very scientific about this. And that is why sometimes when I hear people criticize the the university group that normally does this CEPRAS, you know, I always caution them, because those who made it a business to do opinion sampling always want to get a lot of things right. And then you have to pay attention to what is not reported or where the reporting is getting at than the actual figures only. You know, so we, anytime an opinion poll is released from a credible source,
and CEPRAS is a credible source.
It's a credible source.
What about Afrobarometer?
Well, Afrobarometer, they don't normally go into the nitty-gritty of politics, who will win, who will not win. They, until recently, most of the time they look at issue-based factors that
which can impact decisions, you know.
Exactly, and once those are out, they help us also to improve on a lot of policy deliverables. To look at, for example, I mean, a lot of people, you know, will say that food prices are expensive in this country.
Aren't they?
They are. Yeah, you know, so that is something that no government will deny. But what is causing this, and what are we doing? What do we need to do in terms of our policy, in terms of our interventions, in terms of our macroeconomic strategies to ensure that we mitigate? And then, you know, this impact goes directly into the pocket of the people. And I think recently this is what we have been doing. Now, if you look at the infrastructure sector also, which I lead and which has been getting a lot of bashing from our critics, notably to discredit the government's, you know, delivery process and, you know, and activities. So you have to be very strategic, but also very honest to yourself when you are dealing with this, because what I am doing with colleagues to help with our campaign strategies, to help with our political activities, needs to be taken very seriously, because your one word can get a lot of people, you know, misled. So that is why it's important you have to be very honest about it. Personally, I think NPP is in a very good position. All these issues that you hear that, you know, fraud happened in the 2021 election, that Barrow did not win, they stole the election, is all far-fetched. NPP won clearly. And, you know, you remember when I came on the radio in the run-up to the parliamentary election, I predicted certain constituencies to be won. What we did not take seriously was the desertions from our party and the dissenting views that the grassroots members...
Well, it was desertions that that established the NPP in the first place.
Exactly. But, you know,
you were all from the
UDP, yes. But for us, in the run-up to the parliamentary election, something peculiarly serious we did not pay attention to.
Which was?
Well, during the selection processes, the grassroots, most of them came up with their own candidates. And at some regional levels, some candidates were imposed on them. West Coast is not peculiar to this. And that reflected in what we call a protest vote. Because you could see the large number of people who registered did not go out to vote. Turnout was, I think, less than 40%. That was unprecedented compared to almost 70% or more of turnout in the presidential election, which was less than 5 months ago. So we have learned a lot of lessons from this.
Yeah, but that's a pattern that's always been there.
Yeah, that's always in there.
You know,
but there has never been
the vigor, the razzmatazz that goes into presidential campaigns.
But you see,
is different from
as I said,
any other.
Yes, I know.
Election at whatever level.
I know exactly. But as I said, looking at the pattern of voting and winning of any ruling party from PPP days to APRC, there has never been a situation where a ruling party won a presidential election and lost the majority in the National Assembly to that an alarming rate. We still maintain the majority, but it was not big enough to sway, any policy voting patterns in the National Assembly.
Don't forget that up to now, Barrow has ever been a coalition candidate.
Yes.
So even when he was winning in 2021, he won as the head of a group
Of parties.
Parties.
Yeah, but when we went into the National Assembly also, we chose wisely with our coalition partners.
Well, your strategic,
yes.
positioning of
I mean,
candidates.
it was good because the NRP, came out very big in the areas where they stood, 4 candidates. The APRC that was in alliance with us won Joswang Bundung and lost in many of those areas. Then, and that is why I said...
And then the others who are just, extra luggage, if you like, not a single candidate. Well, you wonder why they are in,
but
GPDP.
In politics, every vote matters. And...
we're talking about National Assembly. They
National Assembly,
should contribute at least one member of the National Assembly.
Well, I think these are all lessons learned in coalition building processes. But, I can tell you that looking at the data, looking at the current flow of things, looking at the president's personal popularity, I can tell you that he's poised to win the presidential election.
The question from the very beginning was whether he was going to win by this
75.
Yes,
no.
aspirational 75%.
I wish that could be possible.
That was the question.
I wish that could be possible. I also go out.
All polling so far has pointed to a Barrow win.
Of course. And that's what I'm
saying.
And that is what we are also, looking at. And we may have a slight improvement on our last presidential,
So you'll go above,
percentage.
You'll go above 53 this time?
Most likely.
Yeah?
Most likely. But not significantly higher
Well, you were saying nobody can even get to 70%.
No, it's not possible. It's not possible. I mean,
69 would be the highest.
The way our politics is now, there is not going to be a situation where any presidential candidate would go beyond 60%, unless maybe there is an autocratic system. Where people, the main, credible political parties all boycott, But so long there is this pluralistic, popular political, environment.
Why would they, given the life that is in our politics now, why would those in opposition suddenly decide?
No, I'm saying, for you to have 70%, a scenario would have kicked in that will make it possible for
with
only...
all those parties. Again, let me remind you, the NPP has yet to fight an election alone.
That's what I'm telling you.
You have all these GPDCs, GMCs,
even let me tell you,
GMCs and all these, NRP.
Even if President Barrow stands alone, he's going to win. That is there. The data is there. The president is going to win.
So get rid of all these other
in
political parties and
in
move
politics, it is important to have carry-ons. That is very critical.
That's a nice way of characterizing them.
All our partners are extremely very important, and it is important that the NPP has that very good rapport with all the political parties that are part of the coalition.
Okay.